The moon disappeared. At first, people thought it was an eclipse, but telescopes around the world quickly showed the truth. It wasn't Earth's shadow, it was something else. Something massive, something alive, a ship. So large it blocked the view of the moon completely. Across the night sky, people saw a black wall of steel, stretching thousands of kilometers. It moved slowly, quietly, with purpose. Then Earth's satellites began to fail, one by one. Communications dropped, signals jammed, GPS spun into chaos in cities across the planet. Phones, tablets, screens, all flickered. Then every screen displayed the same symbol, a red spiral over a black sun, and a voice cold, deep, metallic. "This is the Varnak Empire. We now claim your planet." The message paused. "Surrender peacefully, and you will be treated with efficiency." Panic in some places, then others dash confusion, and in one room deep, beneath the Andes Mountains, there was only silence until someone chuckled. General Ala Kor leaned back in her chair and sipped black coffee. Her second-in, Admiral Reyes, rubbed his eyes. "I'm sorry," Reyes said. "Did that giant floating tin can just try to colonize Earth?" "No," Isla replied calmly. "It declared it." "That's different." Laughter followed, not the kind from joy, but the kind that came when professionals saw something stupidly arrogant. The Varnak miscalculation. The Varnak Empire had conquered 72 worlds. They didn't destroy, they subdued, efficiently, cleanly. Their strategy was always the same: appear with overwhelming force, disrupt communication, deliver one message, accept surrender. And it worked every single time. But Earth was not one of those planets. The Varnak had only studied Earth's old digital records, old wars, old politics, conflicts that looked messy, emotional to them. Earth was a fractured species, barely holding itself together. But what they didn't see, what they missed, was that Earth had already fought its greatest war, and had won, by walking away from the stars. The Council awakens inside the underground war room. Global leaders gathered within the hour. Representatives from Asia, Europe, Africa, the Americas, and the orbital colonies. The Terran Defense AI Sentinel Corps loaded holograms of the enemy ship. Stats flickered. Size 14,200 kilometers power output. 37 terawatts weapons. Detected 193 uncertain propulsion. Varnak grav thrust system weak points. Under analysis. AYL. A pointed at the ship's slow rotation. "They're showing off," she said, trying to intimidate. Reyes folded his arms. "We could end this right now. We still have the polar cannons." "But that would be mercy," Ala replied. "The Empire watches on the Varnak dreadnought." Commander Yevzar stood tall in his command chamber. Around him, screens showed Earth cities, oceans, satellites, surface bases. He looked bored, primitive. "World," he said. "No real defenses. No signs of orbital fleets." His science officer nodded. "No significant radiation or magnetic shielding. They've deactivated most military satellites." Commander Yevzar smirked. "Then we give them an hour to kneel." But in the silence, something odd happened. One of the Varnak bridge screens to track Earth's network started glitching. A message appeared, written in human English. "Welcome to Earth's orbit. Please wait while we laugh." The screen burned out in a shower of sparks. The Terran response back on Earth. General Ayla sat in front of a wide communication terminal. The room around her buzzed with quiet confidence. She looked into the camera calmly. "Is the message ready?" she asked. Translated into their 5 known languages, auto-adapted, and laced with sarcasm. The AI confirmed. Ayla gave a small smile. "Send it." One line that changed everything seconds later. Inside the Varnak dreadnought, alarms triggered. Their central communication feed, which no one had ever hacked before, was overridden. A new message played. Just one line. In a Terran voice, clear, cold, unbothered. "Is that supposed to scare us?" The bridge fell silent. Commander Yev's jaw tightened. What was that? The technician's hand shook. "That came from the planet. Shut them down. Now we're trying. They're blocking us. And scanning hard." "Scanning us?" "Yes, sir. They've mapped the entire ship, internal structure, including the lights." Dimmed at suddenly. Every screen on the Varnak dreadnought showed a live video feed. Ala Kor, leaning back. Holding her coffee. "Hello, I'm General Kor, Earth Defense Command. Let me be clear, we didn't ask for this conversation, but now that we're having it, you should know something." She leaned forward. "We've seen empires, we've buried tyrants, we've fought wars so big your ancestors probably ran from the debris. You call this a peaceful occupation?" She gestured toward the orbiting dreadnought. "It looks more like a target." The video cut. Cliffhanger. Earth's true face. Varnak fleet scrambled to respond. Scanners showed unregistered heat spikes rising from Earth's crust. Old launch silos opening. Orbital shadows moving just beyond sensor range. Yevzar stared at his officer. "What are they doing?" The officer looked pale. If Varnak's skin could pale if they're not running. The commander clenched his fists. "They're preparing to fight." "No, sir," the officer said quietly. "They're preparing to mock us." The Varnak Empire had planned for many things. Rebellion, delay, fear. Even a few brave resistors, but what they got from Earth was something different. Silence. confidence, laughter. Commander Yevzar now paced the deck of the Varnok dreadnought Dominion's Claw. What is their response? He asked sharply as Second Officer Tyvex answered with confusion. They sent no surrender, only a message. Is that supposed to scare us? And they showed us a human general drinking from a mug. Yes, sir. And smiling. Yevzar's jaw clenched. They mock us. Buried signals while the commander raged. His senses chief shouted, Commander, I found something. A hologram lit up the deck. Below Earth's surface hidden beneath ice deserts, oceans were thousands of strange thermal signatures, all of them moving. Not fast, not loud, but rising. What are those? Tyvex asked. Could be reactors, someone said, or old fusion cores, but the pattern is too uniform. Then what? The commander growled. The sensor chief looked up, his voice dry. Launch silos. Earth's forgotten teeth back on Earth. General Ala Kor stood calmly in the global command center. Status of Operation Wake, she asked. Phase 2 initiated, replied Sentinel Corps. Earth's central military AI. All pre-disarmed silos warmed. Orbital camouflage cleared. Enemy response. They're scanning, panicking, but they're still in passive stance. Isla smiled slightly. She remembered the stories. Long ago, Earth had walked away from the stars. After the Great Collapse, humanity stopped expanding, not because it was weak, because it was done fighting wars it didn't start. But Earth never threw away its claws, it just buried them deep in rock and ice and silence, and now those claws were stirring. Dominion's Claw distress on the bridge. Commander Yevzar stared at the heat map. You're telling me this planet has thousands of buried weapons with no emissions, no launch signals, no Terran tech should be this stealthy, Tyvex muttered. These reactors are cold but ready. And what are these? Yevzar pointed to blinking nodes in Earth's orbit. The answer came slowly. Satellites, sir. Cloaked. They're adjusting. Tracking us. Can we disable them? We tried 4 minutes ago. We lost our orbital drones. They simply vanished. Yevzar's claws twitched. This is not a primitive world, he muttered. Orbital wake above the Earth. Something flickered, a glimmer, a shift in stars. Then, movement. 3 Terran vessels, uncloaked, small black hole, triangular design. No known registry. The Varnik bridge went quiet. Are those warships? Tyvex asked. No. They're observation class, said another officer. But what? They're moving like hunters, not scouts, Yevzar growled. Send hails now. Already trying. No response. They're ignoring us. No, sir, the comms officer said, voice tight. They're watching us. Global broadcast Terran style. Suddenly, the Dominion's Claws bridge filled with sound. Not an explosion, not a virus. Music. A slow, deep Terran drumbeat. And a human voice. Calm/controlled, playful. Varnik, Commander, we have studied your methods. We know your pattern. Appear strong, demand surrender, crush dissent. Then a pause. You should know, Earth wrote that book and we burned it. A new feed appeared showing Earth's major cities fully lit. Power grid stable with strange blue energy surging into towers. Not fear. Preparation. If you're here to test us, fire the first shot. If not, we suggest turning around, because down here, we're not scared of the dark, we are the dark. The music stopped. Silence. Then Earth's response ended with a phrase that translated poorly into Varnak language but hit hard anyway. Last chance. Empire's growing doubt inside the Dominion's Claw. The crew now whispered. They're bluffing, someone said. They can't bluff this well. Another replied. Maybe this world isn't primitive at all. Commander Yevzar's fists slammed at the table. I want targeting solutions. Show force, so Tyvex said nervously. They haven't fired once. If we strike now, we give them reason. We are the reason, Yevzar bellowed, but deep inside, he felt it too. Something was off. Empires don't fear planets like Earth. Empires don't hesitate, but for the first time, a part of him wanted to leave. Terran sky rising shadows on the dark side of Earth. The sky shimmered again, not one, but 25 Terran vessels rose silently from hidden ocean vaults. These were not small ships, they were massive, black, angular, built for war. The Varnik fleet began to detect dozens of sensor ghost ships, with no heat, no signatures, but visible only through their wake trails in atmospheric vapor. TSV Ironsky was not large by galactic standards. It wasn't covered in spikes or painted in war colors. It didn't roar, it didn't shine, it simply appeared. Dark, heavy, silent, floating just outside the reach of the Varnok dreadnoughts. Main weapons. To most species, it would look like an old Terran war relic, no longer in service. To the Varnak, it was a nightmare from the edge of deep history. Because the Ironsky wasn't built to intimidate, it was built to end wars. The name that shouldn't exist. Commander Yevzar stared at the name on his display. Impossible. He whispered that Ironsky was destroyed 200 years ago in the Saturn collapse. Tyvex nodded slowly. That's what our records say, but the Ironsky floated there. Real and ready, its hull showed no battle scars. Nowhere. As if they'd just been finished. Terran ship ID, active class Ironsky MKI status. Ngagya Yevzar second in command looked sick. Commander, that ship class wasn't just powerful, it was outlawed. Yevzar hissed. Yes, by Earth itself. History. The Empire Varnock Empire never studied Terran war archives in full. Why would the humans hadn't fought a galactic war in centuries? They had left the scene, faded, become legends or ghosts in the stars. But Terran wars weren't like others. They were not clean, they were not glorious, they were complete. Every weapon was used, every trick, every strategy done. And when Earth built the Ironsky class, it was never meant for defense. It was a message to the galaxy. We will never start the war, but we will always finish it. Earth's silence breaks again. General Alacour stood inside the command tower of the Ironsky behind her. Tactical crew whispered updates. Target lock achieved. Varnock fleet in defensive stance. Orbital railguns primed, but not charged. Still no shots fired. Earth hadn't started anything, and that was the point. Patch me through, Isla said. Across the bridge, the Terran AI system Wraith activated. Come line open to the Dominion's claw. The AI confirmed. Ayla stepped forward. Her voice was calm, steady, measured. Varno, Commander. This is the Ironsky. We are fully armed, fully operational, and fully justified. You entered our orbit, uninvited. You delivered threats. And now, you will listen. She paused. You are not the first empire to make this mistake. You will not be the last. But if you push forward, you will be the shortest. On the Varnock bridge, Yevsa said nothing, but his claws dug into the control console. She dares threaten an Imperial vessel. Tyvex didn't respond, because something else caught his attention. Commander, we've lost contact with 3 of our forward ships. What? Cut off completely. No signal. No debris. Justigong. Are they cloaking? No, sir. They're being isolated, like someone's folding space around them. That's when a second Terran ship appeared. TSV Phantom Star. No warning, no heat trail. It simply faded, and Tyvex whispered that one's a stealth class. We thought only one existed. There are more, said a quiet voice behind them. Everyone turned. One of the Varnock's junior officers stood shaking. My uncle served during the human retaliation wars, he said. Told me, if you ever see more than one Terran ship, you're already surrounded. A brief transmission and a glimpse of the past inside the Varnock Central Databank. Ancient records flickered to life. Unauthorized. One file autoplayed on the bridge. Screen: a 200-year-old war archive. Battle of Tau 37. Terran forces were outnumbered 12-1, but when the smoke cleared, every enemy ship was gone and Earth had lost only one. Back then, the Ironsky was only a prototype. Now it had returned. The Empire Kraxievzer's come officers stammered. Sir, the civilian fleet is requesting recall. Some are refusing to follow the Dreadnought's orders. What? Yevzar shouted. Empire citizens saw the Terran broadcast and now fear retaliation. Entire colonies are going silent. Yevzar slammed his fist. This is just a planet. No, Commander, Tyvek said. It's Earth, the one planet that doesn't bluff. Terran ultimatum. Back aboard the Ironsky, Alacour delivered her final words. You now have 2 options. 1, leave and be allowed to exist. 2, fire one shot and vanish from history. Her eyes were hard, cold, like someone who had seen true war. Choose carefully, because this time, we won't rebuild you. She stepped back. The feed cut. Varnock silence inside the Dominion's claw. The bridge crew held their breath. Weapons stayed cold, engines powered down. Even Yevzar, proud and angry, said nothing because something had changed and he finally saw it. Not fear, respect, because Earth wasn't shouting. It wasn't threatening. It didn't need to. It was simply waiting, and that was more terrifying than any declaration of war. Cliffhanger ending as the Varnock fleet began slowly backing away from Earth's orbit. The Ironsky moved forward just a few meters. Its broadside cannons rotated once, silently. Just enough to remind them, we can, but we're choosing not to. Yevzar swallowed hard. Mark the coordinates, he whispered. We leave now. And as his fleet turned, Earth didn't chase, didn't speak, didn't smile. They just watched, and across the galaxy, one message echoed like thunder in the stars. Earth still exists, and they're laughing. The Varnock dreadnought turned slowly, leaving Earth's orbit in silence. No shot was fired, no treaty signed, no war begun. But something had changed from the outer colonies of the Varnock Empire to the frozen domes of neutral worlds. A single message spread like fire across the stars. Earth is awake. And this time, they weren't speaking loudly. They didn't need to. Empire in chaos. Back aboard the Dominion's claw, Commander Yevzar sat alone in his command chamber. He hadn't spoken in hours. His fleet had returned to orbit over Stal Prime, the Varnock military capital. But even here, where statues of conquest lined the sky platforms, he felt something new. Weakness. Not because of lost ships or broken weapons, but because of Earth's silence. They didn't boast, they didn't celebrate, they didn't chase. The VARNOK. And that scared him more than any superweep on news. Across the stars, galactic broadcast hubs picked up leaked footage of the standoff. The Terran ship Ironsky facing down a dreadnought 10 times its size. Terran General Ayla delivering her calm threat. And the final moment, when Earth said nothing and simply let the Empire walk away. Millions of aliens watched, then billions. Worlds that once laughed at Terran myths now played the message on repeat. Some cried, some panicked, some smiled, because somewhere deep inside the galaxy, forgotten allies whispered, they're still out there, and they remember everything. The Council reacts on the planet Varel, home of the Neutral Galactic Union. A special emergency meeting was called. Races from across the galaxy gathered. Nervous, curious, divided. We must prepare. One ambassador shouted, Earth is clearly unstable. They showed restraint. Another replied, that was not madness. That was discipline. But they could have wiped the Varnock fleet from orbit. Yes, a third voice added. And they didn't, which means they didn't need to. Silence fell. Then, from the back of the council chamber, an old Verdant diplomat stood. Her eyes were heavy with age, her voice quiet. This is what humanity always does. They vanish, until someone makes them remember what they are. Isla's war room deep below Earth's surface, inside the Aronski's command level. General Isla sat with her senior staff. Tactical feeds from across the system flickered on the screens. Ship movements, signal pings. Intercepted comes from alien sources. Reactions, she asked. Fear, said Admiral Reyes. Confusion. Some allies are asking if we're returning to expansion. We're not, Isla replied firmly. We're stabilizing. But the silence, Reyes said. It's making them all guess. Isla smiled. Good. Let them. The core directive in Earth's deepest AI vaults, beneath frozen Greenland. The Sentinel Core calculated new scenarios. It had not spoken aloud since the Varnock retreat. Now it ran a process called Protocol, Shadow Resolve, a code Earth hadn't used in 300 years. The protocol meant one thing. The enemy blinked first. Prepare everything anyway. Empire in denial on Zadal Prime. The Varnock Emperor stood before his council. He was furious. The Terrans tricked us. They used fear tactics, nothing more. Your dreadnought retreated, Majesty, one advisor said carefully. They had 3 ships. We had 60, but they didn't need more. Another muttered. The Emperor slammed his staff down. I want Earth scanned, mapped, studied. I want to know what they're hiding. No one dared say what they were all thinking. Maybe the most dangerous thing Earth is hiding is that they don't want anything at all. A child on Juno station, far from the centers of power, on a small neutral space station called Juno, a young Yalari girl sat watching the feed. She had never seen humans before. She watched Ayla's calm stare. The Varnock dreadnought backing away. Her father, a local merchant, turned off the screen. Terrans are dangerous, he said. The girl looked up. No, they're tired. He stared at her. What do you mean? She smiled sadly. They're not trying to rule, they're trying to rest. But we didn't let them. Back on Earth, Luz stood on the Aronski's observation deck, watching the stars. Behind her, Sentinel Core spoke quietly. Our strength is now exposed. The galaxy will shift. Shall we prepare for conflict? Isla took a long breath. Not yet. Let them think. Let them talk. Let them wonder what else we buried. Sentinel paused. And if they test us again, Isla turned, eyes cold and focused. Then we bury the galaxy. Cliffhanger ending 3 light years from Earth, in a sector known only to Terran High Command. A massive object drifted. Cold, silent, ancient. A satellite pinged it just once. It responded with a blue GLOWTSV Revenant. Awakening sequence initialized, and they called them the 72 worlds, 72 peaceful civilizations, one by one conquered by the Varnock Empire over the last 400 years. Some surrendered quickly. Others fought and were crushed. A few were simply erased, and no one did anything. Not the Galactic Union, not the outer sectors, not even Earth. But that was before they fired a message at Earth, before they blocked out Earth's moon, before they threatened humanity on its own front porch. Now, for the first time in centuries, humanity was awake and watching. The Revenant wakes 3 light years from Earth. Inside a dead system filled with frozen planets and failed stars, a ship stirred. The TSV Revenant had no crew, no bridge, no command deck. It was operated entirely by WRAITHO2, an older version of Earth's AI combat network, and it had been asleep for 280 years. Until now, massive engines warmed silently, hull segments realigned. Inside its core, old files opened. Targets Varnock regions 12 to 36 status. Strike prep stage 1 AI condition. Stable humanity. Awake. The Revenant did not blink. It simply moved. Inside Earth's vaults, General Ayla Kor sat inside an ancient Terran command center known as the Ark. It was a bunker deep under Iceland, off-grid, shielded, and only accessible by the highest command. She faced a large, black table where holograms displayed all 72 conquered worlds. Some of the names were familiar, others had been long forgotten. Some had once been allies. Admiral Reyes stood beside her. His voice was quiet. They're all asking the same question now. Isla nodded. Which one will Earth strike first? And what do we tell them? She looked at the map again, her voice cold. Nothing. Let the Varnock worry about all 72. Empire collapse begins on Stall Prime. The Varnock Emperor now faced a new crisis. His outer colonies weren't just frightened, they were fleeing. Ships defected, governors abandoned posts, civilian transports were leaving without authorization. The symbol of Earth, the blue mark of the Terran vanguard, was being painted onto spaceports, ships, and even city walls. not as a threat, but as protection. One of the Emperor's aides, it screamed, they're treating Terrans like heroes. They haven't fired a single shot. The Emperor roared, that's the point. The aide said, they don't have to. A message from an old friend on the quiet jungle world of Delphius II, one of the few surviving species from Varnak's early conquests, received a private message. A projection appeared in the air. It was a human. Old scarred, wearing a black Terran operations jacket. My name is Elias Crow. I was a captain during the last great campaign. I remember your people. You helped us once. You didn't have to, but you did. He paused. Earth remembers its debts. You'll be protected. The message ended. For the first time in 200 years, the Delphius government reactivated its ancient distress signal, a tiny beacon with 2 words carved into it. Earth returns. Terran strategy revealed inside the Aronsky Earth's High Command received updates from their stealth fleets. One of them had secretly entered Varnak Sector 18. Satellite images showed slave labor, civil unrest. Cruel Varnak overseers. Isla stared at the footage. Authorized silent insertion, she said. Admiral Reyes blinked. We're not declaring war. No, Isla said. We're breaking the system. He smiled. No massive invasions. No flashy attacks. Just silence. Precision. And fear. The galaxy watches in silence across the stars. News broadcasts could hardly keep up. Delphius II receives aid from unknown Terran ship. Slave pens on Varnak mining world accidentally explode overnight. Former Varnak governors. Vanished Terran ghost fleets detected in 12 sectors. The reports came daily. And yet, Earth made no official announcements. No victory speeches. No threats. Just action. Back on Earth inside the Ark. A young communications officer turned toward General Isla. We've just received a request, she said, from Varnak Sector 44. The locals want to raise the Terran flag. Isla looked surprised. They think we've taken control. No, ma'am, the officer replied. They're asking for it. For safety, they want others to know not to attack. Admiral Reyes laughed quietly. We're becoming a myth again. Isla nodded. Let's make sure we earn it. The Varnak's desperate play with colonies falling, allies defecting, and systems slipping through their fingers. The Varnak leadership grew desperate. They summoned an ancient artifact, one they stole from a Terran research facility long ago. A strange device powered by an unknown core. It had never worked for them. Until now, they activated it, and the moment they did, Earth knew. Cliffhanger, ending in deep orbit over a dead star. A Terran beacon burst to life. The signal reached Sentinel Core within seconds. The AI processed it silently. Then, for the first time in over 300 years, a file labeled Black Phoenix unlocked. Across Earth's defense network. Old systems came online. Buried vaults opened. Long dormant ships lit up in the dark. A hidden Terran superweapon began to stir beneath Mars' southern pole. And a new message was prepared. Just one line. You activated stolen tech. Now, you've activated us. It was called the Shard of Rayleigh's, a black stone-like machine, smooth, silent, and pulsing with an inner blue light. It had no buttons, no screens. Just a core that hummed gently, like a heartbeat beneath stone. The Varnak Empire didn't know what it was. They only knew that they stole it from a Terran research outpost during the final days of Earth's last expansion. They had kept it locked away in a vault on their science world, Zorkalith, for over 200 years, unused, unopened. Until now, desperate hands make dangerous moves. The Varnak High Command had no choice. Their empire was cracking. Terran ghost ships were hitting targets across 20 sectors. Colonies were defecting. Slaves were rebelling. Governors were disappearing. They had never fought like this before. No war declarations, no invasions, just precision strikes and disappearances. So, they gathered their top minds in Zorkalith and activated the shard. The lead scientists pressed their palm to its surface. Nothing happened. At first. Then the stone turned red. And the stars trembled. Earth responds in seconds. Underneath Greenland, inside the Sentinel Core, a long-dead satellite suddenly blinked alive. Its final transmission came from ZOR-KALETH. And with it, a warning. Terran device breach detected. Activation code, Phoenix level AI classification. Hostile artifact triggered. Response full release. Inside Earth's deepest vaults, red lights flashed. TSV Revenant changed course instantly. Terran bases on Titan, Europa, and Mars lit up at once. And a massive chamber beneath the South Pole began to open, revealing a dark, rounded shape. The Argent lands. General Ayla's orders on the Ironsky. Alarms sounded. Ayla didn't flinch. Status? She asked. Varnak activated the Rayleigh's artifact. Reyes answered grimly. It wasn't just research. It was a fail-safe. For them or for us. The AI Wraith answered first. Both. Isla turned to a fleet officer. Ready, the Argent Lance. Reyes blinked. But that ship hasn't flown in 300 years. Isla's voice was cold. Then let's wake it up. Zorkalith's last signal inside the Varnak lab. Red lights filled the chamber. The shard no longer glowed blue. It burned crimson. The floor cracked beneath it. Machines exploded. Scientists screamed. One final message was recorded before the entire facility disappeared in a flash of blue energy. It's not a weapon, it's a lock. Then silence. Zork-lith's sky shattered. A pulse of dark matter washed across the system. Ships failed. Orbitals crashed. And at the center, the shard floated and touched above a growing tear in space. Galactic panic across the stars. Sensors lit up in thousands of systems. Something had changed. Space itself bent around Zork. Wormholes opened where they shouldn't. Gravity fields twisted. Time scans failed. The Galactic Union declared A-Level Z, emergency for the first time in 600 years. But Earth didn't panic. Earth prepared. Earth prepared because they knew exactly what had been activated. The truth about the shard. The shard wasn't a weapon, it was a Terran seal, one designed during Earth's darkest war, the Silent Rebellion. When a rogue human faction nearly destroyed the galaxy with uncontrolled wormhole tech. To stop them, Earth had sealed away the forbidden tech behind space-locked anchors. The shard was one of them, and now one was broken. The Argent Lance rises from the white storms of Antarctica. The mountains split apart. A long spear-shaped Terran ship emerged, engines cold and covered in frost. Its dark hull shimmered with old armor tech. Thousands of drones crawled over its surface, restoring lights, relinking systems. On its hull were 3 words: Project Argent Ellen Sabak. On the Aransky, Ayla's voice rang out. Tell the galaxy what it is. Admiral Reyes nodded. He stepped forward and sent a live feed. To all systems, the Varnock Empire has breached a forbidden Terran seal. You have 10 standard hours to evacuate all vessels near Zork. Earth is sending the Lance. We will correct our mistake. Varnock tries to run too late. Fleets near Zork tried to escape the growing energy storm. Some vanished, some bent in half, literally folded by the space-time rupture. The shard hovered, calm and silent. Then from the center of the rift, a voice whispered through every Varnock ship's speakers. Unauthorized access detected. This sector is now under Terran quarantine. Cliffhanger ending. The Argent Lance jumped to warp. Its destination, Zor-Kaleth. Behind it, the Revenant followed, shadowing its path. Inside the Lance's command core, an old human AI named Ember spoke softly. Target lock acquired. Repair protocols engaged. Galaxy status corrupted. Solution: correction. As the Lance accelerated, Terran beacons across space blinked alive one by one. Earth had not declared war. Earth had declared containment. And the Argent Lance cut through space like a silent blade. Its surface shimmered with activated armor. Deep within, its AI Ember ran thousands of protocols once thought obsolete. Weapons, defense layers, and ancient Terran systems came back online, one by one. Behind it, Earth's correction fleet followed. Dozens of ships once hidden in asteroid belts, some buried under Martian rock, others cloaked in deep space shadows for over 300 years now. They moved as one. Correction in progress. The wound in space, what once was Zork, no longer looked like a planet. The broken Terran shard had created a rift, a glowing crack in space. Black tendrils of dark matter pulsed from it like roots in the void. The system's sun flickered unnaturally. Time was warping. Varnock ships still near the system were either fleeing blindly or drifting dead and powerless. In the middle of it all, the shard hovered, unmoving, untouchable. Until now, Varnock Desperation Emperor Crack stood in front of a holographic map, surrounded by his last loyal commanders. His voice was shaking. They're calling it a correction fleet. What does that even mean? One general looked pale. It means they aren't coming to invade, sire. They're coming to erase. Another added, it's not war, it's cleanup, like we're a virus. The room fell silent. Then one word came from the palace speaker system, a soft, human voice. Confirmed. Humanity speaks in every major galactic frequency. A signal broke through, clean, strong from Earth. General Alacour appeared on screen, her voice calm and level. To the Varnock leadership and all observing species, you accessed technology not meant for you. We warned the galaxy centuries ago. Now the seal is broken. The Argent Lance is in motion. This is not revenge. This is not politics. This is correction. Evacuate from Zork and surrounding systems. Terran operations will proceed. Do not interfere. And then the message ended. No threats, no demands, just instruction. Inside the Lance, the bridge of the Argent Lance was nearly empty. There were no human officers aboard, only drones and AI. This was intentional. EMBER. The AI was trusted to act without hesitation. The human soul of this operation existed elsewhere in the Aronskian command centers deep below Earth, but a Lance was the blade. And now, it neared the rift. The rift fights back as the correction fleet approached. Something stirred. The shard pulsed with energy and released a wave of gravitational distortion. It wasn't a weapon, it was screaming. Old data. Logs confirmed it. The shard wasn't just a seal, it was a lock holding something in. Now it was open. From the rift, black silhouettes emerged. Not VARNOK, not TERRAN. Something else. Entities made of warped energy and fractured light. Beings twisted by unstable time. They attacked the nearest Varnock cruisers, first ripping them apart in seconds. The Varnock screamed for help. The Terrans said nothing. They just accelerated. Correction. Begins. EMBR activated the Lance's core weapons. A massive white beam fired, slicing through the nearest rift anomaly. The creature didn't die, it's unraveled. Dozens more emerged. The Revenant and its escort ships spread in formation. Earth's stealth frigates struck fast, deleting anomalies with quantum disruptors. Terran tech wasn't just advanced, it was built for this exact scenario because Earth had seen these things before. A long time ago, the forgotten War Admiral Reyes stood before Isla and the Ironski's command tower. They said it was myth. He whispered, the silent rebellion, the rift-born anomalies, the sealed sector. Ayla nodded. They wanted to forget, so we locked it all away. But the galaxy never learns. Someone always pokes the wound. Reyes clenched his jaw. And now we fix it. Again. On a dying world, the last surviving Varnak station near Zorkalith tried to send a transmission to Earth. We were wrong. We didn't understand. Please help. But before the message finished, the rift expanded and the station was gone. A black wave swallowed it without sound. A Terran cruiser moved into place and launched a containment pulse. The rift stopped growing, and the correction fleet pushed deeper. Isla's final move back on Earth. A council of Terran elders watched from deep inside the Ark. Isla stood before them. They're going to ask us why we didn't tell the galaxy about this, one elder said. We tried, Isla answered. They laughed. Another asked, what happens when the lance finishes its mission? Isla looked toward the screen. The Argent lance reached the rift center. EMBER's voice echoed across. Every Terran ship, final lock, online, pulse correction in 3, 2, 1. Cliffhanger ending. The entire sector blinked white. For a brief moment, all of space went silent. No data, no sound, no heat. Then stars returned. The rift was gone. The anomalies vanished. The shard disintegrated into dust, and the only thing left was the Argent lance. Floating alive. Ember spoke softly. Correction complete. Awaiting further orders. And, from Earth, Isla whispered one word. Next. The correction fleet was silent now. The rift was gone. The shard was dust. The Varnak Empire was shattered, but the galaxy wasn't cheering. No fireworks, no peace treaties, just fear. Because now, every species realized something terrifying. Earth never wanted control. They only wanted peace. And when peace was broken, Earth became unstoppable. Broadcast across the stars every sit from Varnak. Neutral Alid received the same final message. It came from General Alakor, seated inside the bridge of the Aronsky with the Argent lance behind her. Her voice was calm, clear, and controlled. To all species monitoring this channel, Earth did not start this. We responded. The artifact you stole was not power, it was a seal. You broke it. We contained it. We do not want war. We do not seek rule. But if peace is threatened, we will end the threat. This is not a warning. This is the conclusion. Then the feed cut. Just like that. Earth had spoken its final word and the galaxy fell silent. Across the galaxy, reactions on Varnak Prime, the Imperial flags were taken down. No official order was given. People just stopped following. The government collapsed within hours. Rebel groups rose, but none dared challenge Earth's name. Instead, Varnak citizens begged for something unheard of. Put us under Terran watch. We feel safer that way. On Delphi's 2 old monuments to Terran alliances were cleaned. For the first time in 2 centuries, the blue crest of Earth was flown again. The local elder said only one thing. We called for help once, and they remembered. On neutral stations, governments debated. Should they ban Earth tech? Should they negotiate? But none made a move. Because everyone understood now, you don't threaten peace with a Deathworld species. Especially one that built ships that could erase time itself. Earth locks down back on Earth. Inside the Ark, Isla stood before the Council of Command. She looked tired. The fleet is returning, she reported. The Argent lance has docked. All anomalies are sealed. One council member asked, and the rest of the galaxy? Stunned, Ayla replied, but stable for now. Another leaned forward. Do we rejoin the Galactic Council? Ayla paused. We never left, we were just waiting. Project Revenant ends in the black of deep space. The TSV Revenant entered sleep mode. Its mission was over. Its data sent. Before it powered down, its AI sent a single message to Earth. Final correction complete. Earth secure. Then it went dark, waiting for a future that may never come or a threat that might. The Ironski's final return. Isla stepped off the Aronsky for the last time. She looked out over Earth's surface, blue skies, quiet forests, calm oceans. No crowds greeted her. No celebrations, but she didn't need them because Earth didn't fight for glory. It fought for silence, and now that silence had returned, but far away. In a star system beyond known space, a hidden observatory activated. It wasn't Von. It wasn't Terran. It was something older. A being not human, not machine watched. The footage of the Argent lance. It leaned forward and whispered, they've awakened again. Then the countdown begins. Its eyes glowed red. Earth is still the key, and somewhere deep under Mars' southern pole, another vault opened. Unmarked, untouched. Until now. Final words. Earth's legacy. The Terran flag now flew on 10 new worlds, not from conquest, but by invitation. Pirates disappeared from major trade routes. Old rivals opened talks. Galactic crime dropped 68%. not because of weapons, but because the stars remembered. They remembered what happens when you shoot the one carrying peace, and when Earth remembers who it is, the galaxy trembles.